Hey kids, welcome back to On Stage, Off Stage. I'm your host, George Sapio. Our guest this month is an old friend, Michael Burgos. I met Michael back in 2015 when he performed his now legendary one-person show, The Eulogy, at the Ithaca Fringe Festival. What began in a small performance studio in Ithaca, New York, pretty quickly steamrolled into a 4-year international tour, with The Eulogy accruing Critics' Pick and Best Of awards around the globe. It's not often that a show sells out this consistently to such diverse international crowds. We finally managed to crowbar ourselves a small chunk of time into Michael's busy schedule. When we caught up with him, he was in Honolulu for the Ha Ha Hawaii Festival. And not wanting to waste time, we got right into it. So how did The Eulogy go as a one-person show, from that little room in Ithaca, New York, to Adelaide, to Atlanta, to Pittsburgh, and getting awards everywhere?
Well, the awards, I don't know exactly how that. I mean, I do it. I do the show to have fun and to perform, practice acting, practice playing with an audience. And the awards are another thing. But when I started, it was just kind of like I just went all in and applied to 8 festivals, fringe festivals in the U.S., got in, and was just kind of like, this ship will sail or sink, but I'm gonna go for it. And Ithaca was just like me needing to try to do a show after I finished my school, and I learned a lot just of like things that worked, things that didn't work. I refined the play a bit from between Ithaca and DC, and in DC,
was that your next show?
That was the next festival, yeah. Okay. Like the Washington, they were like the 4 main, I guess, outlets for journalism came to the show, and it was just like raves across the board. And
understandably,
I mean, that was my second city. I had this Washington Post quote. I had Washington City Paper and some other publications, and and then the run sold out, and then that momentum carried into Indianapolis, which was next, and then the Indianapolis Star, which is the main paper in Indianapolis, gave it a rave. Their weekly alternative, Nouveau, gave it 5 stars. So the run, it was like one of the top 10, I think, selling shows there. And apparantly the Indianapolis Fringe never gave, it wasn't a festival that had awards, but the year I was there was the first year they were giving any award, and they gave they gave me something called the Quirky Award, and it was the only award they gave out. I don't necessarily know what Quirky Award means, but I love it. I think it's great. I mean, I know what the word quirky means, but
well, you should probably see your own show at some point just to understand what they're doing.
But it was just cool that they gave out like that. That was very unexpected, because I didn't think they weren't a festival that had awards. So that was the first award, and then that the reviews from DC, then Indianapolis, plus an award carried over to other shows in the U.S. And after that, those 8 cities, I don't know. It's just like I earned enough, financially to kind of give it a shot to go to Australia.
I hope so, because Ithaca paid you practically nothing.
Yeah. But I went to school in France, and I had a lot of friends who were performing in Australia, and I saw what they were doing, and it just kind of inspired me. And I was just like, well, I know these guys. I worked with them every day for 2 years, and I love them all to death. But at the same time, it's that thing of a peer. I don't know. It's like you see your friends doing something, and you're like, oh, I can do that too, I guess. And so I just
Yeah.
Booked or applied to, Perth, Adelaide, the Fringes there, and then the Comedy Festival in Melbourne. And Perth went well. It was like Perth went really well. Like the audiences were great. The houses were mostly. I mean, I had a couple sold out shows.
Were they
Really,
different audiences than the U.S.?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, aside from the individual people, but I mean attitude and type of humor.
Yeah, that was a big learning experience around the world, from like the U.S. to Canada to Australia to the U.K. I was like, wow, we are all Anglophone countries, and I know intellectually that you all understand the words that I'm saying when I act, but the sensibilities, the subtle, the sensibilities are slightly different. Some places need maybe a more ruckus energy, or some they kind of appreciate, like the verbal witticisms, or some places love the physical things. Like, I don't know. It's hard to succinctly put into words, but it is a reality, like that there are different comedic sensibilities, across countries, which totally makes sense. I mean, that's just, the world, that's what makes it beautiful, is all the subtle nuances and differences. But that was a big learning experience, for sure.
Was there a bit or a routine or a joke that killed him in, DC or Chicago or wherever, but, didn't quite work so well in Adelaide or Perth?
Like, I have so many Australian friends. I love them. I think they're a bit slightly more, more ruckus, more. It's a colorful language, and like the one thing I did, I changed the word. Oh my gosh, what was it? Shrimp to prawn, because they don't say shrimp in Australia.
Right, yeah, of course. Throwing the prawn on the Barbie.
Yeah. So that was really the biggest thing. I just had to say prawn instead of shrimp. That's a quick thing about shrimp in the show. Yeah.
All right, so let me ask you this, because I saw the show 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I know,
it's crazy.
4 years, right?
Yeah.
And you've been working with it pretty much ever since.
Yeah.
Now, content-wise, or from way back in Ithaca to now, how much would you say the show has changed? Has it changed?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, almost every city I go to, I discover something to change, to add, to be it text or movement or a little bit, or it's amazing how the show still, like the cement still hasn't dried. It hasn't fossilized yet, and it's still this malleable thing. But from April 2015 until now, I mean, gosh, I'd say like maybe like 35% to maybe 40%, but somewhere around like 1/3 to 40%. I'll just say like it's probably changed about 35%. Like a good third of the show. It wasn't all at once, but over time, like from 4 years ago to now, I'd say it's a good one complete third of. So I mean, that's like 20 minutes are somehow they shifted or were taken out, or things were added, or it's changed significantly.
To say the show has evolved.
Yes, yeah. But at the same time, the like core is exactly the same, but it's all these small things. Like I did take out one monologue, at some point, and just was like, it didn't feel like it was working great, and just came up with something else. I added a new introduction to the show last year, and then about 6-7 months ago, I added another an addition to the intro. I don't know. It's just like all these little things. Yeah. Keep changing, which is great. It's great.
Good. I remember so many bits from that show.
Yeah.
The intro is one of them, and especially the bit with the cake. And I'm not.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to do giveaways here. I don't want to throw spoilers in. But I mean, there is a particular look on your face where I remember the audience just melted.
Yeah.
So please tell me that's still in there.
Oh, it is, for sure.
Good.
Yeah. I mean, I was just in Athens, Georgia. I mean, not even a week ago. Jeez Louise, performing, and some friends saw from Atlanta came out to see the show, which is like an hour and a half away, and these friends had seen the show in Atlanta in June 2016, so about 2.5 years. They'd seen the show 2.5 years before they saw it again, and they were like, "Wow, it was just like the same, but really, I don't know. It was cool to hear that." Even for them that they'd seen the show, like my I think performance in it has definitely evolved, and I'm so much more with the audience in a way. I'm not like, in their laps or whatever, but I'm very, I know the show so well now that I can I can very much, if anything happens in the audience or there's someone does something or calls out something or anything, like I can just drop the script and like ad lib for a little bit with the audience, and then come back to
extensive experience with improv to begin with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I mean,
for somebody who knows the script as well as you do, I mean, you mentioned that your 175th performance is coming up.
Yeah.
And, well, to be honest, if you don't know the script by now, you're in serious trouble.
Yeah, totally.
But
for me, the best things about performing the show are when it goes off the rails, because that's the most alive and the realest, when it's like a moment that is singular to this audience, and that's what makes the show special. Is I mean, an audience doesn't know this coming into the room to see the show, but like every show is different, and whatever the makeup of the audience is, or however much they want to come to the show or not, be involved, it really affects a lot. And the best things of the show are things that are not scripted. And there've been
anything stand out.
I mean, I don't even, just like, there have been so many, but just the most recently in Athens, like there's a guy who, like, sometimes I sort of like, figuratively, I kind of like throw it to the audience to kind of get like a response of some sort. And this one guy, like, I might be like focused on a specific person, like, maybe just to like get their name or something like that. And this guy like would interject, and he like, whenever I was like trying to kind of elicit something from someone, he would always like steal. He would just like always steal. Like I would like maybe blow a kiss to someone, and then he would like steal the kiss out of midair. And it's like, or just like, I don't know. He was always stealing like my interactions with people, but not in a negative way. It was a really, like, he just was like, so like he just wanted to play, and it really actually ended up making the show really fun. And by I don't know, like the end of the show, he did. There was one final moment where he really like stole an offer I was offering to someone else, and I was just like, someone arrest this man for larceny. Like, good God, it's like he's still, and he got like the biggest laughs in the show, and I was like, I acknowledged, I was like, man, you deserve it. Like, you are, this show is yours, sir. Thank you. Like, I mean, he just made the show come alive. But he was just happy to, I don't know, to be there to play.
That would freak out a lot of performers. It's there are some performers who get up there and they do their material, and they might be very protective about what it is they're doing. I'm the person on stage here, and you're the audience, and there's a dividing line.
No,
But what you're doing, I mean, as someone who's been on stage, right? This is for everybody who's not been on stage. It can be a harrowing experience when the audience jumps in and derails what you're doing, or augments what you're doing, or steals the moment. But there are those performers like you who just roll with it and seem to love it.
Yeah, I guess in a way, it is like the ultimate improv exercise of like always saying yes to like whatever happens in the room. Because if something happens in the room, I can't deny that it happened. Like it happened, or I mean, unless it's like someone like like doing something insane, like getting naked and peeing on the floor, something ridiculous. Like, I'd be pretty much, as long as it's like people having fun. Like,
so that's not in the show as it stands now.
What?
Getting naked and peeing on the floor.
No, my God, no. I'm saying, anything that happens with the audience, it's such a great practice of just accepting and saying yes, and looking at it as an opportunity to play fodder for finding a game, or even when audiences aren't, if they're more reluctant or tepid, or not standoffish, but kind of distant. Sometimes like that could be, it's an opportunity to say yes to that. Like, I don't know, one time, like sometimes I might just like kind of physically just kind of like put my hand near someone with the kind of intention or trying to communicate, like, I just want to get a little high five real quick, and then I'll keep going with the show. And like most of the time people will just like kind of give me a little high five. But like sometimes people, they'll just have like their arms crossed or something, and I'll just be like, I might say something like, please, on the count of 3, don't high five me. 1, 2, 3, got it. Like, something like, turn like a negative into like, you did exactly what I wanted. Not high five me. Yes. Like, cool. It's no matter how much people participate or don't participate, it's like, oh yes, this is great. You are all doing wonderful. And it's being happy with anything. Cause I don't know. It's especially when I'm by myself on stage. Like I need the audience, to, if love, it's like, as an actor, we want the audience's love, even if it's not that, you certainly don't want an audience to hate you. So,
true.
Yeah. I don't know. I might have gotten off the question. I don't even remember.
It's there's always that fourth wall experience between the stage and, the audience. And it seems like your fourth wall is more or less made of smoke.
Yeah, there is no fourth wall. Yeah.
Which is a wonderful, wonderful thing to walk out and do. Yeah,
the show itself, when I wrote it, I was like, oh, this is a perfect, format to play with an audience in. Like, if I say this show is a eulogy, and essentially, if I'm the eulogist, that means the audience is the attendees at this, non-real funeral. So it is an open, it's like, yes, I am the eulogist, just so you all, I don't say this in the show, but it's like, just so you all know, you all are at this funeral. Like, it's going to be like, I'm here with you.
Have you ever done a real eulogy?
No. No.
Because I think I want you to do mine.
Yeah. I definitely hear either like, oh man, please do my eulogy, or like, please, dear God, stay far away from my funeral. Like, it's one of the two. No, I mean, they both I really appreciate in a way, because it's like, it means and usually the ones that are like stay far away, it's kind of, it's in a joke because it's
Yeah.
I'm sure they enjoyed it on some level enough to be like, please don't come to my funeral.
So let me ask you this. This is a eulogy.
Yeah.
And you wrote this right out of school.
Yeah.
So why a eulogy? Where did this come from? What was, I mean, you could have written about anything. Why this?
I didn't intend to write a eulogy. I was studied in France afterwards. Before I came back to the U.S., after I finished the school, I had time left on my student visa so that I could like legally stay in Europe for a little while longer. So I went with some of the friends who I was at the school with to London, and most of my friends were like making a show that they were going to perform. But I knew I'd be going back to the U.S. soon, and so I had to figure out. I was like, well, yeah, my friends are, clearly doing the right thing, and they're making a show. I need to make a show. So, I just rented some time in this like warehouse space in Hackney Wick, London, and it was this cold, dirty warehouse, and but it was cheap. And I rented like 6 days of time and just meandered around this room for a couple hours a day, and just improvised by myself. And most of the thing, trying to come up with material.
Right.
And one of there were like a few things that kind of came out. I was like, maybe I could make something with this. But one of the things that came out, without giving too much away, was a character who's like, and who knows where it comes from when you're it's like it comes from the ether or the muse or whatever. But
who knows?
This thing came out like it was just an impulse, really, is what it is. Like I was some guy like trying to speak at a funeral for some guy who died, but like all he really wanted to do was like hit on the widow, but he was in a public forum, so it's like I was like, oh man, that's a great scenario for comedy, like a guy speaking at some guy's funeral, and he really is just trying to use the like as even though it's a public thing, he's still trying to like get in his pitch, so to speak, to the widow of like I don't know. So
it comes across as an awkward situation. I can tell you that much.
For sure. It's super. It's farcical that this character. It's like it's so not. It's nothing. I don't play in the world of realism. Like it's like vaudeville or something. I don't even know. But it's so ridiculous. Like, but I was like, that's like it could be a really funny thing. A guy speaking at a funeral trying to hit on the widow, and that's one of the characters. But when I discovered that character in London, I started writing the monologue for that, and it was, I don't know, maybe like 10, 12 minutes or something, and I was like, this is like a kind of significant monologue. Like if I have 12 minutes with this thing, like, oh, then it just clicked. I was like, I could just write like a few more ridiculous monologues around a funeral or something like that. And so I was like, oh yeah, I'll just write like the horrible funerals, like just make it and it was that first character that came out when I was improvising in London that's where it all came from. It was this warehouse in London. I was improvising, discovered a character, a scenario, and then I was like, oh, that'd be like fun, like just make the worst funeral speech ever, but like for the purposes of
you succeeded.
Play. Yeah.
How many characters are in this play?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Six. Yeah, six. Yeah.
That's a lot of personality changes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great. I was gonna say it borders on the schizophrenic, but it's fun.
But
It's
that's
just
what you
character.
need to
Yeah,
do
but
that.
there are other people, who've made one person shows that like switch between characters. I mean, I'm not in anything really. But yeah, it's fun. Yeah, but that's true. Like, it's doable, but I think it would be quite a challenge to have a one person show with just one character the whole show. I have seen a one person. I've seen a lot of one person shows, and I don't even know the past 15 years now. But I've seen shows that have one character, and man, I was just bored as hell. And maybe it was the content, maybe it was the actor. I don't know what it was ultimately, but I was just so bored. And I've seen other shows where they were just beautiful and just incredible. But I've seen the actor. Yeah, go through these different characters, and I remember before I even got into theater, seeing a one-person show, and was blown away seeing an actor like really vocally change, and just how their body shifted, and So in hindsight, maybe watching theater before I started doing theater, kind of it started to lay the grounds of doing a one-person show later. I don't know.
It's great training.
Yeah.
I was looking through your website, and I got, of course, to your bio, and I'm reading about how you've toured with the show, and you've gone to school in France, and you studied with somebody. And I definitely want to talk about this, but I noticed down at the bottom of this bio, you tuck away.
Yeah.
You just kind of barely mention that you got a degree from Berklee College of Music, which is highly impressive. And then you end with, I toured with Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. Yeah.
Well,
seriously, talk about this.
But that was the longest. That's the furthest thing ago. That was, I guess 12 years ago now, like 2007. But I was on the business end of the tour. I was not in the band, so I did tour, but I wasn't like on stage or in the public eye really. I at Berklee College of Music, I did study music. We all have to study like ear training and harmony and arranging, counterpoints, like all kinds of things, and as well as private lessons in our instruments.
You're like a real musician, not a rock star.
Yes. No, I mean, I don't know. I do music. I write in the Eulogy. There's music I've written, songs I've written. In this new show I'm doing in Hawaii, I'm helping write music, and so there's a lot of. I grew up playing music, and I thought I'd be doing. I mean, I thought I'd be doing music for a long time. I did music for a while. I was composing for like background music for TV and radio ads at one point. But when I was at Berklee, I studied because they have about something like 12 majors or something like that. But they're all like music related. But I ended up studying music business and management. So I essentially. My major was focusing on the workings of the music business, the music industry. And when I was there, I mean, in hindsight, I was just, trying to be the good student, overachiever. I was like the head of the student-run record label, the president of the music law group. I mean, I was in the Music Business Association, like all these extracurricular things, helped to start up the Berklee Internet Radio Network, Burn. Before, like, I just did a lot of stuff to try to stand out, basically. And when after I graduated in 2000, I graduated in 2006. But one of my music business professors, who has just a ton of contacts in the industry, it got me in touch with Bruce Springsteen's people, and I had a phone interview with them, and they interviewed a couple other people, and I lucked out and got the job, and just worked. I was my official title was accounting assistant. So it's not as
assistant to Mr. Springsteen.
Yeah, but I dealt a lot with like guest ticketing and things like that.
Dude, I wish I knew you back then.
Oh yeah, gosh, yeah, I know. I'm glad a lot of people didn't know what I was doing actually, but
because every time I've seen him, I've been in Nosebleed City, and half the time it was behind the stage. So
I had access.
Believe me, I know what his butt looks like.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, some would argue that might not be a bad vantage point.
Some would, but yeah. Moving on.
Moving on. No. So yeah, I handled a lot. I don't know. I was always in communication with box office managers around the world, and fulfilling ticket requests for guests of the band and guests of the crew and things like that. And it was a behind the scenes job on the road, but I learned a lot, and I'm sure just that experience, years later when I began touring myself, it's like I had that reference point and kind of the music business and management degree, the Bruce Springsteen tour was like, I did the theoretical education and the practical thing as well to kind of not feel completely helpless or clueless, to be able to manage myself as an artist. Like being a self-produced artist, I do, it's the cliche of like wearing multiple hats, but like the manager part of me, has to try to protect the artist part of me as much as possible and stuff like that. It's a reality, that performers have to deal with or learn about some way or another, maybe in a good or bad way, about the workings of just the entertainment industry.
I would hope in a good way, because there's too many bad way stories for.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I learned about a lot of stories, and I've encountered like a couple people where it's just like, no, I don't want to work with you kind of thing. And but it's and being okay is, I don't like to say no, but if my gut, if something doesn't feel right, then it's just having the wherewithal to manage yourself as an artist. So, but yeah, that was the Bruce Springsteen
cool. That is
touring
cool.
Behind the scenes, backstage, doing there are like 60 people on a tour. So, the 10 people on stage, but there's a lot of working parts behind the scenes, and I was one of the cogs in that wheel.
Yeah, that's why I always tout the techies when it comes to every single show, because the actors get up there and grab all the good stuff, and it takes so many people to just get them up there so they can do it.
I went so far, like all the way to the extreme end, on the art commerce fence. I just went all. I had nothing creative in my life during that time, and I was just like, I needed to get back to something more creative. But now I feel like I have a healthy balance of like performing while booking things and being my own tour manager and all that stuff. But I love what I'm doing right now, for sure. It's awesome.
That is very much evident. I want to hit another part of your illustrious career here. It says you've written and directed over 20 short plays for children, and you're also teaching classes for children.
I got into acting by accident. It was really, I was doing music. I was composing music for ads at this time, but like friends of mine were asking me to like act in their short films more and more for whatever reason, and then I would be making music for their short films, and they were asking me to act in them. And but after a while, I was like the lead in one of my friends' 20-minute short films, and I was just like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And they're like, it's fine, cool. But it just after a while, it piqued my interest in an acting class. So I signed up for an acting class. We did like 2 scenes throughout, like a 15-week session or something. And but that was it. I had fun. When the class was done, I didn't think anything of it. But the teacher afterwards emailed me and asked me to audition for this children's theater company that she writes and directs for. And I had fun in the class. I was like, sure, why not? I like this teacher. And so I auditioned. It was, quick. And then, but before I knew it, I got cast in this, children's theater production that would tour this like 30-40 minute play around to elementary schools. And then but it was just, before I realized that I was acting with other people who had theater degrees, and I was like, oh my God, I felt like I felt like such an imposter. But through that company, so my first acting teacher was the playwright and director for this company, but the woman who owned the entire company also taught an acting class, and I took her class. And she asked me to start. She runs like a big children's theater program called Acting for Young People, which has after like the touring thing that I started out in. It has after school enhancement programs, like where kids do acting classes after school, and there's like a summer camp as well, and there's a lot of different programs with Acting for Young People. But I just fell into this thing, and her name's Mary the lady who runs everything's named Mary Lecter, and she asked me to start teaching after school. That went well. I wrote my first play a while ago, and then not very long after I started teaching after school, she asked me to start teaching at this summer camp. And I don't know, I don't know how to succinctly describe the past 9 years, but the past 9 summers I've taught at this summer camp, this acting summer camp. It has kids ages 5 through 18. I teach the 9 and 10-year-olds along with, I guess now I'm like a lead teacher, and there are a couple other lead teachers I teach with. But this will be my 10th summer this year. But my first acting teacher, her name's Lisa Nani Messagy. It was Lisa Nani Messagy and Mary Lecter that got me working in this company that has like children's acting. And I've worked at other camps as well. But this is truly like a really, really special camp. And I intentionally don't apply to festivals in July so that I can like go teach at this camp every July for a few weeks, like into August. And for me, I love getting out of the world of adults for a few weeks, just to like, and there are a lot of, just to like get back around like 9 and 10-year-olds, which is the group I teach for.
It's like a fresh breath of life.
It is. It's just a reminder, like of like what play is, and like imagination and creativity and fun, and not knowing, and taking chances, because some kids are acting for the first time, but it's like, oh yeah, this courage or this fun, and like I think all these adults taking acting classes, like kids have exactly what all these adults are looking for. I think acting classes for adults are to remove all the BS, to get back to that state of like,
let's peel off all the protections we've put around ourselves over the last 28 years.
So but over the years teaching at the camp, I've written, I don't know, gosh, I used to write about 3 plays a summer, and now I'm doing a bit less, and trying to give more space for the junior counselors to do things. I'm going into my 10th year, sort of becoming one of the like elder counselors, and it, like now, because I've already taught 9 years. Some of my first campers who were like 9 or 10 are now like 18, 19, and they're in college, and they're like working now at this summer camp, and it's like, oh my God, like what is going on? Yeah, it's incredible. But I guess it's like
published. Can we find them?
No,
anywhere?
I'm thinking about making an anthology of maybe like my 10 best short plays, because yeah, I've just thought, why the heck not? I think they're really fun. I know that the company keeps all the like plays on record for like teachers to use and stuff like that, which is cool. But I think it'd be also cool, just as, you know, someone who studied music business, and, you know, talk about like passive income and, you know, like sale. Yeah, just to have like a little anthology out there. Not that I expect it to, you know, break through any. I mean, that's one field I don't know a lot about, is like the literature published kind of thing. But yeah, I think it would be great to.
Yeah.
I have actually like started the process of making an anthology of like 10 short plays for children, because there are many little anthologies out there. And,
oh yeah.
I think
with your sense of play and your sense of your good nature, I think it'd be a welcome addition to the canon that's out there. Yeah. And it's not in an egotistical way or anything, but like I love the plays I write. Like they're fun. Like and that's like and yeah, I nothing wrong with that.
I see myself as a facilitator of fun for these kids, because it's like I don't want to be like a teacher in the traditional sense or whatever. Like they have teachers all year at school, and like they're coming to a summer camp. Like I'm not there to, you know, put any, you know, I don't know how to explain, like impose any. I'm not there to like teach them anything per se, or like, you know, any. This is how to act, like as if it's doctrine or theory. Mm-hmm. It's like, no, I'm there. Like they already have it, like I mentioned earlier, and I'm there to more like help tease it out and encourage and foster the bud to bloom, because it will bloom of its own accord, I guess. But it's like I'm there just to water the plants.
That's a wonderful way to encourage it to bloom, because playing is. The nature of our business. We do plays. We get on stage and we have fun, and that's the idea.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what so many people forget. That's why I love going to this camp. It's just a reminder, like, and yeah, it's, you know, like the teacher I study with in France, he's 75 years old. He was like, smoked so much in his life. He's drank a ton. He's had cancer twice. Like he's like.
Is this Philippe Gaudier?
Philippe Gaudier, but like I think just like teaching, I think there is something about like when you teach young people, it keeps you. I don't know. In a way, it helps keep you alive a bit as well. Like it's just always great to be around like an energy. That's.
No, it's wonderful.
Life.
It's wonderful,
and not completely, you know, jaded by the world or something.
No. We need that kind of play. I got one last question for you, and then I'll let you get back to your Hawaii.
Well, oh my God, time has flown by. I just noticed the time.
Philippe Gaudier, because you just walked right into this. I'm going to run with this a little bit. He was an improv teacher, correct?
He's a theater teacher. He teaches neutral mask, Greek tragedy, melodrama, Shakespeare, Chekhov, Commedia dell'arte, clown,
You've taken an improv workshop with him, correct?
It was a clown workshop. In Chicago. Yeah, that was the first thing I ever did. I mean, in a way, improv is a large part of a lot of what he does, especially with like clown, because so many things, it's like his exercises are like, you have no idea what the heck he's asking of you. And so, you know, sometimes like he might just say like, okay, in essence, he'll say something along the lines of like, you have to get up on stage and be funny for 10 minutes. It's like something like that. That might be what the essence of the exercise is. I know it sounds like ridiculous, but and that's not what he is a teacher. He isn't just telling people.
I'd like to be funny for 30 seconds. That would be great.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, he gives like impossible tasks sometimes. But yeah, there are things that's like, okay, we need some people to go up. All right, you need to act like a laundry machine from 1958, Germany. So he'll give you like the most random, and it's just like, what the crap is he asking me to do? Or like, I remember this one exercise in Commedia. He's like, I had like the Harlequino mask on, Arlecchino, and he's like, all right, you're in a field with a bull, and you need to like tell the bull to go to the other field to have sex with the cow, but you have to tell him in Arabic. And I was like, what the hell? Like he gives you things that like don't make, like there are things your brain can't work out, and that your mind, like logic will not help you get there, and reasoning, and it's just like he gives you these prompts that just ask like for like an impulse to arrive or something, like I wouldn't say he's an improv teacher, but in a way there is a lot of like improv at the school, because you just go up and you don't know what he's going to ask of you, and he'll give you some ridiculous prompt and you just have to go. It's just like boom. He hits his drum 3 times, and on the third one, boom, you need to like explode and go. And he does. It's and as the classes progress, you sort of get what each style is after. Like in Greek tragedy, and a lot of mask workshops around the world work on things similar. Like the neutral mask, you might be working with, elements or something, and you put the mask on, the drum is hit, and you're supposed to be like fire, like a bonfire or something like that. And it's like, what is that? And these are things, again, first of all, you have a mask on, so you can't speak. So it's like through your body, you need to, be a tree, or you need to be a lake or a river. It's like, there's no way to practice these things. You just have to allow the impulse through the exercises, and for I guess you could call them improvisations. Try to discover something, and but he's very much a theater teacher, and he has he's similar. He might actually hate. I don't know if he would hate me saying it, but he's similar. He is and he isn't similar to Lecoq, Jacques Lecoq. He was a theater pedagogue in Paris that more people know about. But Philippe Gaulier, when he was, I think, in his 20s, he studied at École du Théâtre Jacques Lecoq. He studied with Jacques Lecoq, and then was Lecoq's assistant for 10 years. And he taught at Lecoq's school for 10 years, and then he broke off and started his own school. So he does stem from that background of Lecoq. But it's just like acting and theater, and some of his like well-known people he's taught. Philippe Gaulier, he taught Sacha Baron Cohen. He taught Helena Bonham Carter, Emma Thompson. I think those are some of the like Anglophone actors he's taught. But he's taught famous people from throughout Europe, throughout Asia, South America, like I mean, he's taught people all over the world.
Yeah, well, very, very lucky to have studied with Elise Gaulier. I mean, it sounds like an amazing experience.
He's I mean, for lack of, I mean, I do think he is like a one of those kind of master teachers in a way, like in the like maybe in the way Stanislavski was like just this groundbreaking guy when he was alive in Russia, and the way maybe like Meisner was like a really, fantastic teacher for the people who were lucky enough to have him. Or I do think
it's a once in a lifetime experience.
Yeah, I think more people will learn about Gaulier after he dies, and I'm sure his legacy will live on as one of those like teachers. Stanislavski, Russian. Meisner, Lee Strasberg, Stella Adler, the Americans, Jacques Lecoq, and Philippe Gaulier are the French ones. But he'll be one of those like he'll be. I mean, I think his name is starting to appear in some books already, but I'm sure later on in theater textbooks. Yeah. Oh God, it almost saddens me, but like I know people are gonna study him in a purely like theoretical way that like I can imagine a textbook like 50 years from now in some like intro to theater class, people are like, oh yeah, Philippe Gaulier was this, that, and that, but it's like, you can't put him in.
No, it's two different realities. You can't take the essence of the person and their knowledge and their experience and translate it to a book that can only give you, black on white paper, words on white paper, and it's.
He's one of those teachers that is like a lightning bolt that pierces your soul when you work with him, kind of thing.
Well, Michael Burgos, this has been absolutely wonderful catching up with you and talking, and we totally wish you the best in the rest of your performances, wherever they may take you, and we look forward to whatever you've come up with next. So
thank you.
Give our audience a quick, how can we find you? Website, performances, what's going on?
You can go to theeulogyplay.com, and there will be info about upcoming shows in Seattle, Utah, Fresno, California, Toronto. And you can also type in michaeljburgos.com.
Sounds good. Thank you, Michael.
Cool. Thank you, George.
Hey kids, thanks for listening to Onstage Offstage. Onstage Offstage is produced monthly, and all of our shows can be found at onstageoffstage.org and also on iTunes. If you enjoy what we do, please recommend us to your friends. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at OnOffStage. And if you are a theater artist with an upcoming project of interest or work in a part of theater we haven't covered yet, or know of someone in the theater world who'd make some great chat, please send us a note at info@onstageoffstage.org. Onstage Offstage believes in and advocates for a world where all people are free to live their lives as they wish, in peace and without fear. We believe in universal respect, diversity, and equality in all areas of life for all people, no matter what their nationality, race, religion, age, sexual status, or gender. Onstage Offstage will never promote or endorse those who seek to diminish others because of who they are. I'm George Sapio. Thank you once again, and happy theatering to all of you.